So 15 minutes, right?
20.
About 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm AMIRHOSSEIN SHAHRI. I want to talk about the childhood dream that I accomplished, which is published in my book. Well, since I was a kid, I wanted to share my experience and thought with others. I want to let people see my vision. And thankfully, I could get to that point to share my experience, my vision with the world. Before everything, I wanted to thank Dr. Bagley, Professor Torvitsky, my wife. Ladies in power, right? You know, like I think women are the most beautiful thing that God has created. And when you look at women, you see God was an artist. Speaking of art. So the good thing about art is, first of all, my major is computer science. I'm a programmer. So most of my time was spent in Yonkol with other scientists, different majors. One thing that we were lacking in Yonkol was creativity. Like you are stuck with the formula, 2 plus 2 cannot be 5, you cannot change it. Or in surgery, oh, let me cut this vein, see what happens. You know, like you have to stick to the plan. You are stuck with the formula, gravity, force, all this stuff. It's either you like it or not, you have to work with that. But that's not the case with art. You can have your original thought and create something new, push the boundaries. And this is the beautiful thing about art that I really love. And what I believe is like in art, you can show humankind is limitless. So I had 2 messages when I wrote this book, one for readers and 2 for other authors, other writers. So first let's start with the audience. I really worked so hard on character development. You see different genders, different races, different people, different religion, different background. And my point was to show everyone in the end of the day is the same. We are all humans and we share basic needs. I will get to that just in a minute. But first I wanted to show people that humankind is capable of doing evil thing and good thing. Depends on the surroundings, depends on the people around, opportunities, and all of them, they can play a factor. Right? I'm not taking out the responsibility from the people's shoulder who are doing the action, but I'm saying the environment can help for good or can make it worse. So why not being nice to people instead of letting them turn to the villain, but help them to be the hero? So some of the characters in the story, they don't have charisma, they don't have a special talents, and then you see, oh, they're not gonna go anywhere, but they end up as a hero. And some people, they say, oh, they cannot do any harm. You see, in the end of the story, they are actually villain. So I'm saying, if you have people around yourself that you see is turning to the villain, do your part, be nice, help them. The basic needs, as I said, I want to get to it, is all the same for all people, regardless of religion, regardless of race, which is being loved, attention, support. This is what people need. It is free, just give it to them. Just be nice, and then we will have the better world. Okay, more exciting part, which is what I had for authors. Well, so many people, they say because of the tough background that I had when I was a child, that's why I'm so creative. Freud actually says, more pressure is on you, more creative you're gonna be. I don't agree or disagree, I'm not gonna get into that, but at least it works on art. So, if I tell you you can make a story, inside the room, you say, what can I do with one room? You say, this is all you have got. So what you do is like you focus on the ceiling, the board, floor, people in here, chair, table, everything. So this is all you have got. So you try your best to do something creative because there is a pressure, there is a limit. But if I tell you you can make a story inside the city, in state of Missouri, it's so easy. You have plenty of options. That is why I think Hollywood has lost its path. They just care about the money. They say, bring the superstar, make him superhero, give him superpower, fight the villain, tada, we save the world. But when you see back in the day when we didn't have these CGIs, all those stuff, literally they had to work so hard to come up with a good idea to make it a story interesting. But right now we are seeing like people all like, hey, it's not art anymore, it's business, all just to make money. This is what I believe. So I say, try it. If you want to get better, make it harder for yourself, put pressure for yourself, and then you can come up with better idea for writing a story. The second thing that I have for other authors, this is the beauty of art. You don't have to follow other people's steps. You can have your own thing. What I mean by that, you remember I said about the young couple, you cannot do anything? That's not the case for the art. I think professors in art, they have to say, look, it is painting class, I'm gonna tell you how we have been doing it. These are some examples from the legends before. You know what to do. This is your own thing. You have to create. That is the beauty of art that I believe in. And I think, unfortunately, these days we are seeing less and less. So, what is going on is like, I have my own style. This is my work. This is the thing that I created. For example, if you give my book to someone, to one editor, maybe say, oh, this sentence is too long, it's whole paragraph. This is my work. I know what to do. I have my own reason, my logic behind that. Like a scary movies, in a scary scene, you see they stretch out the background music, they stretch, like the character is walking slowly. The scene could take a place in 5 seconds, they make it 20 seconds because they want to build up the fear in you. Same thing, every period that ends the sentence is like a break for the reader. If I put this the point period in one paragraph, make it 2, 3 different sentences, so the reader has time to breathe, take a break, and move on to the next sentence. I don't want that. I want them to be afraid. I want to build up the fear in them. So I make it as long as possible. I put all the scary elements in it, so it is like they are underwater and they are trying to get up. And in the end of the sentence, I let them breathe. Or in other hand, if I wanted to make it so exciting, I make it like really short, way too short basically sometimes. Like I make 6 words in 3 sentences. Think fast, period. Think faster, period. Think fastest, period. Look, because I want to jump, hop, 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 I'm gonna give you something. I want to raise your heartbeat, and then I'm gonna reveal something. So it depends on you. You have to have your own style. You are not entitled to just follow other people's method or strategy or style of writing. Other thing that I really like is like, you can see my signature. This is what I wanted to talk with other authors. I have my signature. So if you read the SmokerS, and then you read one other book and you don't know who is the writer, and then you say, oh, this is familiar. I think I saw it somewhere. This is me. This is my style of writing. For example, most of the stories, unfortunately, they are linear. Like in the beginning, you can see somehow how the story gonna end. But for me, it's not the case. You know, some part of the story, the character development is not very exciting, it's a little boring, but it is essential. You cannot remove that. So you have to work on that to make a story strong. It's a little boring. So what I do in the beginning of the story, I take you to the rabbit hole. Most exciting part of the story. You get excited, you say, how did I get here? Oh, I love it. You go there and quickly I take you back. Then I say you have to work hard to get there. So I give you a little bit taste of the best part of my story, but I don't give you all. So if you want it, you have to read it. So you go for next chapter, next chapter. So I think you should expect unexpected when it comes to writing cool story like a SmokerS. And then one other thing I wanted to say is like, I always want to leave like fingerprint or stuff that you would remember forever. So it looks like a cover of my book that I created, right? But it is more than that. I'm gonna talk about that just in a bit. So you see there are main character, tall guy, and a SmokerS. When I write a story, I divide it by 3 sections, beginning, middle, end. And each section, again, I divide by half. First half of the beginning, second half of the beginning. First half of the middle, second half of the middle, first half of the end, and second half of the end. So 6 pieces in total. 3 sections, each section 2 parts, 6 pieces in total. So basically you can see that in here. Like the story, how it comes, it's like geometric, like it's like triangle if you put a line between those 2 characters and a smoker. Like in here, start with this person. So start from here. 1, 2. 2 means the process of from main character gets to a smoker. And 3, the smokers itself. 4, from the smokers how it ends up to the tall guy. And 5th, the 5 is the tall guy. And the 6th, how main character ends up to the tall guy. So in this triangle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you see the whole story. So basically when you finish the book, you say, oh, now I see what's going on. And then the chapter 1, this book that I wrote, is about dawn. Dawn means when something comes out of nowhere. Like when there is darkness and out of nowhere you see light, you see hope, change, movement from nothing, Big Bang. This is what dawn means, and the whole story is about dawn. It's about beginning of a movement, of change for better. And one of the secret in this cover is when you flip the book, you see the dawn. The sun is shining on the triangle that I was telling about, the whole story. What I mean by that? I mean, it's including the whole story. The very first sentence of first page in the book has the word dawn in it, and very last sentence of last page has dawn in it. So it starts with dawn, it ends with dawn. And this is like the signatures that I was talking about. Let people know you, then you can live forever. You will die, but your work, your art will last forever if you have something new to the world that people would remember. So I guess I have 3 minutes, and I want to talk about sorry, I get emotion. I want to talk about the United States. The country gave me hope when I was hopeless. Gave me home when I was homeless. Gave my love when I was heartbroken. I was born in darkness, raised by monsters, grew up with creatures. So I know the value of the light. I detect the light from miles away because I was stuck in black hole, in absolute darkness. It's really hard, my feeling, when I see some people hate this country. So, America is the greatest thing that has happened to me. I'm sorry guys, but United States is art, and I'm an artist. If you want to know the beauty of the art, ask the artist, and this artist is telling you, this art, America, is masterpiece. If you want something, go out there and work hard. You don't need to hate others. I would be no one. I wouldn't be here if that wasn't because of the United States. So it's really sad for me to see some people are not grateful. You want to be grateful? Live in the place that I used to live. I ask God every day, can you kill me today? I'm done with life. You know what I'm asking God today? Can you give me one more day? This is the meaning of hope. This is the meaning of life. And America gave me everything. I think I'm done with that. Thank you, everybody.
Amir, that was very, very touching. So thank you for describing your work. We have about 5 minutes or so for questions, if anybody has some questions.
I think your presentation was fascinating and very moving. Thank you for that. I'm also really interested that you're a young Hall person who is also an artist. And I was wondering, because you obviously are incredibly thoughtful, even to the cover of your book, about what you do, if you considered an outlet in creative writing, an MFA in creative writing, very seriously. I mean, you can take that at your leisure while you explore your interests. But I think you're very thoughtful and intentional, and I would love to see what else comes out of your artistry. So have you considered creative writing?
Different type of writing?
No, well, studying creative writing, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, if I have time, because I mean, these days, everything is so expensive, you have to work so hard to be able to get things done. But yeah, of course, like if there's a possibility.
Well, where did your creativity come from?
As I said, I think the tough and dark childhood that I had made me to be deep in every stuff, because that's all I could. To get out of where I was, I had to run away from reality, and I think that opened up, because for example, I didn't have any friends when I was a kid, and I couldn't go out, so I had to pick. I had to make my own imaginary friends and talk to them. And I think since you keep doing it since you're a kid, it really gives you some strength. Whatever doesn't kill you makes you strong.
Some authors have themselves on their own books. Do you, in a specific way, or somehow measure or view you as a character in your book?
Do I have?
Like, do you see yourself on that book? Like,
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's part of me in it. I mean, no doubt about that. And I think because of the unique path that I was taking my life, I had something to share as well, and definitely you will see that in the book. Thank you.
So, I thought it was very interesting that you started out talking about the limitations of being a scientist and having relying on formulas. And then when you describe the formal organization of your book, it really started to sound like a formula, right? And so I like how those things are that influence of you being a scientist is evident in your artistry. How do you see your artistry influencing your identity as a scientist? Now that I'm assuming you're kind of nearing the end of your study, and do you see how, as a scientist, that artistry can help you to?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think I'm assuming most of you guys have iPhone. If you had Android, I developed an app. Like I made an app game like Endless Runner, Subway Surfer, right? So I created from the beginning to the end by myself all the code design. So I used the art that I had, like I made it artistic. You know, I just didn't code to just make an app. I tried to make it as artistic as possible. So yeah, I mean both for sure.
Any remaining questions? Alright, lovely.
Thank you
And
so
do you
much.
want to just do a plug for where someone might be interested?
Oh yeah,
in
absolutely.
reading?
SmokerS, AMIRHOSSEIN SHAHRI, you can find it on Amazon. It has the paperback and ebook, both of them. So appreciate you guys for your time.
Thank you.